Hello everyone, welcome to episode 3 of the podcast At Your Service, Leadership and Mental Health.
What's up, your first
Chicken nuggets! I'm very, very happy that today I'll be sharing a cup of coffee with my dearest papang. I'm Darren Simon, usa ka faculty member, and at the same time, I'm also a freelance host, and of course, together with the man.
I am Sir, just call me Sir Dex Dequiña or Mr. Junior D. Dequiña, but usually my students call me Sir Dex, and my colleagues call me Sir Dex. And right now, I am a school administrator of this, one of the school administrators here in this institution. And of course, we are invited by the College of Education, Arts and Sciences, to talk about the different facets of leadership and mental health, and how to be able to help our students and the rest of the youth there para sa kining ato endeavor karong hapon.
And I thank you. And I'm very happy nga magtabi na punta karon, and of course on a different platform, and basically pag maghisgot ng leadership, ikaw mo ginaamo mga idol.
Ala dili po.
Ikaw ginaamo ang Lodi Cakes. Now, ang ako'y pangutana, I have a question though. When was the first time that you led a group of people? What was the experience like?
If I could still remember, I started leading groups of people when I was in high school. If I could still remember, that was when I was in grade 10, when I was under my very good English teacher, the late Madam Tita Susmenia, wherein she gave me the platform to lead a group of students. And from that time on, I just realized that naaday ko'y leadership potential to handle students, because before that time, I'm a regular follower. Kung sa perspective sa mga leaders na bullshit na follower, kahit hindi masig pabuyag, it's always my business to do something na mabungkag ang grupo. Okay, in one way or the other. But I was given that particular opportunity by Madam Tita to handle the class, and from then on, handling a particular group, it's inspiring, especially if the result nga makuha nato for that particular endeavor nindot siya. And from that time on, when I was in grade 10, fourth year high school, 16 years old, dito na-develop ang philosophy or orientation on
leadership,
result-oriented person. Diba? You know that?
Correct. Yes.
I'm more than result-oriented rather than a process-oriented person.
Yeah, true. Basically, because you know how you mentored us in our formative years as well. Because actually, in grade 6, that was really the moral genesis of the leadership experiences. Hindi ko kalimot sa una, ipatawag ko sa kuang tita when she was still guidance director sa Kuryeso, kay maglista-lista bitaw may talking, noisy, etc. Mangbato bitaw ko chok kung dili madala ka. Because that was the stereotype back then. Pero ultimately, because of in high school, how you shaped us, especially with the other great mentors namo sa una sa bed. Mangutana sila nga anong mangbato daw ko, di ko magsabo, among prefect kadto si Madam Bing. So opposite kayo sa personality ni Madam Bing, nga very direct to the point, never gyud na siya mang-intimidate or what not. Kami po sa una, we had that different notion, but when we become more mature, we understood the intentions with our mentors ninyo, na it's really not the process only, but also the results. On my end, I guess I should say, what are the relationships, the camaraderie that you form after the experience of leading a particular group? So that's very, very important, building connections. Now, how does leadership benefit you? Kung magod ako pangutana ba, sa may na-benefit na ko itong imuming kasabaan?
Ginoo ko tao, Jesus. Benefit, no? At first, siguro, like what you mentioned, na at first siguro, kung idisiplina ta, ikuwanta sa ito mga teachers, na mga nang buhaton na to, at first, dili nato ma-realize ang importansya sa maong gibuhaton. That's a very, very true sa inato nato atong we call that one our business, in teaching and leading our students or our group of people. But as the time goes on, everything will just unravel in front of us ngano di ay gibuhat na siya, it's because para ni sa atua. Mao jud na siya ang pinaka-importante sa ato ang nature. For example, sa una, my teachers always give me some sort of kasaba. Ano si Mr. Pangasaba si Madam, uy, come on nga. Makita na ako akong self karon as a teacher, as a school administrator, na kinahanglan nato nga buhaton na siya. It's because kinahanglan ni sa bata. So
yes.
that's the benefit, no? The benefit of knowing the importance of discipline.
Correct.
Because by giving discipline to students, by inspiring them to do this because this is good for them, makuha nato nga in the future makita nato atong mga bata nga wow, kanang mao na siya ang gikinahanglan sa mga teacher. Di ako malipay. Why? It's because by knowing that my students, for example, did well, no, kanang achieved more kaysa sa akong gi-achieve, kanang I guess mao na siya ang pinaka importante, mao nang gina-treasure nako as a teacher. And for example, nakita nako nga, for example, ikaw doing well in your law school. Unya, nakita ko nga sus ginoo ko nga at least ako yung mga 0.5% diya sa kinabuhi ni Darren o sa mga other student leaders nga niagi sa mo ang mga kamo nga somehow we've done our part and
yes.
we've done our best and tanawa nga mo ang mga kuan mo ang mga products namo.
Yes.
That's our fulfillment and that's also our benefit. Benefit of ato kag bangko. Uy, Sir Dex na ka din.
Yeah.
Ikaw na bahala, Sir Dex. Ikaw na una. And
perks
many other perks, no? Uy, Sir Dex, ikaw una mo. Ito kag kuhan mo. Pamaglinya ka sa senior. Sir Dex, una dito. Na mga ginagpay nga mga benefits na mga perks. Pero, what we're talking here about, the long-lasting benefit na mahatag nato sa ato ang mga students.
Yeah, I like to pick up on two things that you said. Makakita ka that your students are doing well and you pointed out sa kuha with my venture in law school. Actually, doing lang. Wala ko kabalo kung nabay well,
Ay, makita na ni mo puhon.
Puhon, may lawas. But the second one, katong the essence and the importance of discipline. Kaya before, we also can attest, no nga, maski kami sa una, we really needed discipline. And it's really the shaping of the character rather than just seeing your students. Basically, kasi nga, it's the process how their characters are shaped. Ni makita na ko karon na with the tough spots that I've been personally and with all of us, with the pandemic and all, ang mga diskarte ba, karon na gyud nako po siya ma-realize na it is really anchored on the discipline and knowing what to do in situations where critical thinking is very much important.
Also, in discipline also, it's very important to note also that if you are becoming successful, no, in molding a student or in molding people, importante po nga matudluan nato ang atong mga kini sila nga mga tawhanan, kini mga bataan ni matudluan nato sa gitawag nato nga mga life skills.
Yes.
Okay.
I
Life
agree.
skills, not just like doing things, but accepting things,
Correct.
absorbing things, no, life skills in, mental skills,
Correct.
psychological skills. So tanang mga skills nga of which these particular skills, as far as I'm concerned, observing students for many months since our face-to-face classes, nga wala or na-deprive sila because of the pandemic. So it's because of bringing back, interacting with kids and teaching them the life skills na kinahanglan nila. I guess these are a few of the important things na kinahanglan ma-learn sa mga bata.
True, I agree. And one of the life skills that I could never forget was when you basically kami man tanan sa una when we were your student leaders in high school, gitutukan as a general pero naapod tong gitutukan individually on our strengths and weaknesses, and that's where we are very grateful. Kay for example, on my case, you really looked into and took time to take notice and let me also understand asa ko pwede pa mo improve.
Yeah, I could still remember during
Yeah.
your time, no. When was that? 2000, way back in 2012,
12,
and so
13,
on.
yeah.
That it's my business to look into the strength and limitation and weaknesses of all. Kasi
Correct.
kaya na ako sa una. Kaya nga naman, ang student leaders sa una, nara sa 30 or 40.
Correct.
So, tanang muna, kung say it's strengths or weakness, then all of the secretaries, the president, vice president, need to report na mo mga strengths and weaknesses o sa evaluation. So, every week, every month, nag-evaluate me og mga leaders. And patawag, mo yung strength, mo yung weakness. So, I need to look into this, some improvement on these weaknesses of yours na kinahanglan ma-manifest sa imuhang the way you handle the task, the way you handle your constituents, etc.
Correct.
Yeah. I'm so proud also with Edem na and together with the rest of his co-leaders na nahimo nila. Kanya I guess it's also very effective kay kanang gitawag nato nga mentoring. Mentoring na individual mentoring jud din, group mentoring. Nindot kayo to siya sa inyong panahon. Then also if I could still remember also not just individual mentoring, napo ta gitawag nga mga group mentors. If you could still remember that sa isa ka activity before ta mag-start og activity, tanan jud naka-table na naka-gun charting na unsay mga needed. Because
correct.
If you could still remember, we were able to do that because in one event na ay kulang nga usa ka pin.
Yes,
I remember back pin. Then the rest na nangabungkag, jud imagine nga nagpakuan sila na yung mga Mr. and Miss, walay pin, wala joy pin. Usa pagdagan mo something like that. So pagka next event, nag-gun charting na. So and I guess nga mo ni kanang pride sa student council sa Coriaso College is because all of the activities that were done since 2010, no? Kanang nagakuan yun sila, what they call that, naga-improve. So before mag-start ng activity, tanaw sa ta dito sa ato
correct, previous.
Sa atong previous nga mga activities, so na may mga recommendations dito, etc. Para better unya, dili jud pwede nang copycat na activity.
Correct.
Kinala something new.
And then ako personally, I would never forget the pain. When I was also given the task to become student, the moderator of the student council, that was full circle for me. Kaya before, mag-wonder lang dyan ko, ngano di man ko mahimong leader sa leader sa classroom, diba? Class officers, prominent kayo. And then when it was our turn, and then I saw the difficulty, I also realized na bitaw no, it is passed on, and as you pass it on, kailangan nagi improvement. Basically, because it's not just with the school or Corieso, it's also with you. Kung asa ka maabot, I'm also happy seeing my seeing my students, seeing also my students that I was able to share their difficulty and their triumph, to explore and to become who they are. That is also that also makes you proud, seeing your students achieve much more than what you have achieved, no? Now, with that being said, Pang, what are the common concerns of a leader and how do we dwell on it? Diba naman kita nagkadaiya nga mga problema. Talking back at it now, and it feels like this conversation was 10 years after, no, with high school, karon yung professional na po. Ano sa mga common concerns during your time as a student leader and perhaps during the time that you are now leading professionals?
Actually, for concerns or concerns nga perminti nga ma-encounter sa mga students, it's how are they going to balance their tasks, their leadership roles, and of course being a student. Because when I was a college student, I was also the CSG president, and there's also a growing joke on during our time na student leader. So you are a student before you are a leader. That's the idea. Like student athlete.
Yeah.
You are a student first before you become an athlete. So in other words, ang premise is imong i-focus ang imong akads rather than on kuan. Pero sa kung kuan maguna himo magugkong full-time na leader. Then full-time na leader dito sa ang student, no? Being a student mo nang walang absent basta makakuha ng meeting, mga anak. Mao po na ang siguro, sorry kayo pero mao jud ang concept ba nga. Asa naman diri ang kuan, ana naman sa daking mga demands, sa kitang mga targets. Sir, nagkuan mamanggod, napay, for example, na IPE, sir, napay may research, napay exam, napay ana. So, sao naman nato ni naman kay target. So, but because of that, na-realize po sa mga student leaders nga, this is our commitment.
Yeah.
This is our commitment. True. This is our target. Wala matagipugos nga mudagan. Wala matagipugos nga magpa-appoint. This is our commitment. So therefore, from that perspective of commitment, students and student leaders were able now to handle and learn how to wear many hats.
Correct.
Okay? Nga dili ma-compromise ang education ng ilahang klase, dili po ma-compromise ang ilahang task. And I am very happy that working countless leaders for the last 12 years, so since 2010, diri sa atua, both in the college and in the basic ed, kuan siya kanang very fulfilling kay na-learn nila nga at first few months maglisod na. Tayo ba nga dili maka-take sa o di makasugakon sa challenge being an SSE or GSE officer, but later on kung ayaw mo nga ngayon sir pwede mag-resign. ayaw pag-resign.
Yeah.
Tagaig mga 3 months or plus 2 months and later on, maka-adjust ra ka. Remember, once you go to college, di lang kini imuhang maagian. If you know your commitment, know how to handle pressure, importante ni sa atua. And trust me, then mo na, mag-ato sa college, mga feedback, sir, dali ra kay sa for example, nila Froilan, maingon nga, sir, 3 AM na may matulog. Kami, actually, sa una, si SJ ko, wala may tulog.
Correct.
Nag-event, then 3 AM, mag-study pa, muna, ni pagguman, mag-exam sa calculus, o 7:30, walay tulog na lang. Ana-ana na dito, pero nakapasar man.
Correct.
No? Kalala lang, ni kamot lang.
Pero I'm smiling ear to ear kay katoy mong giingon nga you need to balance it kay kagipugos etc. I can remember that was daghan jud kay kog encounters pud bitaw sa mo tinuora nga magkulang na lang imuot kang guidance counselor. That's why the moniker namo sa among batch, of course daghan man sa na tatay na sa among batch is Papang. It was a funny story. I know some of us can remember, but Papang kasi nga you are like a second father literally. And then I can remember talking to you about wanting to quit being the battalion commander of the CAT kasi nga it was difficult because there are protocols different to the student council because it
Way
was
back in 2011.
2013, 2014. That was really struggle kay a lot mixture adolescence etc. But you told me to give it 2 months kay murag pahumanay na ang tuig ato pa. You gave me 2 months and then every time mag-formation me, you don't make it seem nga mura bitaw you're looking at me pero I know that you're observing one way or the other how I treat how I treat the students, how I treat my classmates, ana ba. So that really helped me realize, especially now that I'm handling also, I'm juggling, two big hats as a teacher and as a law student. Ako bitaw, no, discipline and time management and assessing yourselves, accepting what you cannot do.
For example, if I could still remember also, because you said I am observing you during your CAT time, no, as commandant. No, it's because sometimes, as a leader, we tend also to be tough on our constituents. So, that's why, if you could still remember, I told you na we can always be tough. However, we need also to give them the sense of compassion, and of course, to give them the sense of direction, and of course, meaning. Giving meaning to our action that we need to do this because, kung dili na ito dili ta united, pangit ka atong from inana ba? So, that's another point nung atong i-emphasize also that ang kita, kung atong mga constituents, then we are so tough of our, for example, as a president, mo itong buhaton, money. What if and when our constituents cannot understand why you are doing this one, there might be some disconnect. Disconnect. So importante nga makitan sa tanan nga there is a meaning to our endeavor. What is that? Depende na siya sa direction o sa target sa kada organizations.
Yeah, that's true. And basically, we need to purify our intention so that when it would become channeled now to our actions, we can see that we are helping people rather than just being too strict and too stiff. We're also giving them tough love. There is toughness, but again, there is the showing of love and being considerate and all those things. And that's basically how I really appreciated it later on. Although I can say that it wasn't as smooth as how I wanted it to back in high school. Pero leading in college, labi na in college yun, I saw the difference yun kasi in the basic ed before, ang problema lang yun namo is kanusa makolekta ang kwarta, not so much with naabay kwarta nga makolekta kung naiamutan. In college, it was a little bit different kasi nga, you meet a lot of people from different walks of life and that really sparked the advocacy for mental health, wherein na-realize na ko, if people do not really get to do or participate some things that are very important, it also has an impact on their mental health. So now begs the question, how leadership affects one's mental health as a leader and looking into the person that they are leading.
Okay, so how leadership affects mental health in my own perspective as a leader and as the former student activity coordinator, I always believe that with leadership, we can hone our personality. No? We can hone our personality as leaders. We can always fortify our mental condition. Okay, for example, if kung leader na, for example, leader, Sometimes maglisod ta og accept, sometimes
Correct.
maglisod ta og kanang process sa usa ka situation.
Correct.
But for leaders, for example, acceptance, we're talking here about acceptance. Kunwari, na kay mga activities ipa-approve. Kung dili ka tough, mahilak ka, mag-down ka.
Yeah,
You will not
true.
accept. Anong wala na gidawat. But as a leader, kinahanglan ka ready ta na. Muna yung mga something na kinahanglan natong ikuan sa ato mga students. That's why, during my time also, and of course with the inspiration of Sir Kurt and Brother Eli, na kinahanglan natin yung mga gitawag na itong mga promising leaders, na mga developing leaders na ato pong ihundili na nga kamo nga katong mga main leaders, mga, whether elected or appointed. Kinahanglan yun ta nga mag-develop ta o mga more leaders who can be developed o para isa ni sa mga concerns na itong mental health. That's why, even if na bago pa ito nag-start sa itong face-to-face, karoon mo na itong gina-strengthen sa itong basic ed, especially sa basic ed nga, na ay mga few concerns on mental health because of the 2-year lockdown. So, and we are hoping na with using the leadership program of Coriaso College, we will be able to address somehow the mental health issues among our students.
Correct.
Mauna siya. Not just in leadership programs, sports programs. So in other words, not just in leadership, but providing many avenues for our students, para makalimtan nila, para ma-train sila how to handle issues in life.
Na sila experience different from that of which nga pandemic. We need to move forward, manggod. So tama tayo mo giingon that there should be promising leaders that we can cultivate and that we can hone. Kasi nga, each one of us needs to become a leader in our own way. Wherein, when we are faced with different circumstances, we need to know when are we going to accept the reality nga dili gyud ni para sa tuwa, and when are we going to assert for it nga makaya nimo ni with this particular diskarte.
Yan indot pod kung mahimo kang usa ka leader, from time to time you will always receive some good feedback.
Yeah.
Kanang dili nindot nga feedback, ma-receive ka og pressure, ikan sa moderators, sa eskwelahan, sa mga teachers, sa imong ACADS, sa imong mga kauban, sa imong mga co-student. Daghan kay pressure every single day as a student leader. Now, what are you going to do as a leader? A, will you continue? B, will you quit? But being a leader, wala man tayo na-encounter nga mo quit mo nang kinahanglan mo survive. And by surviving, you can survive with your moderator, with your co-leaders. So, ala siya, hinay, nabilit na ako ni makaya. And it's always good na here in Korea, so with the CSG, the SSC, the GSC, the PSB, we have a nurturing environment.
Yes.
Pinaka-importante.
Yes.
This nurturing environment allows our students at first being like a chick, nasa shell lang. Then, eventually,
Spread
mukha
the
na sila
wings.
because we are giving them avenues to spread. I have one very good example of my student, way back in junior high school, na tanan jud kanang pitananan jud nga estudyante. Unya, giving an avenue for this particular student na somehow din natin sila mga untapped energy, untapped talent, untapped commitment, something in him na kinahanglan nga makuhiton na matap nato kay believing in this particular person. I know someday somehow na this particular person will bring something to the society, not just in school.
They'll become game changers.
And right now he is doing best especially in Digo City. So, proud ko anang bataan na.
Ako na pang.
Actually, that's
feeling kayo. Pero I really believe that because before, when you would say all those things, di kina ko masabtan ang nuggets of wisdom. Pero karon that I am also a teacher myself, I can see the wisdom and I can see the beauty of allowing students the platform wherein they can grow and they can manifest who they are.
I would like to point out being a teacher, for example, being a teacher, I always say this to my students na kanang gitawag nato nga pass it on. So if you experience the goodness of life, the goodness of Coriaso College, the goodness of your org, or the goodness of everything that the Lord has given to you, it is our responsibility as a Christian, as a Catholic, or as a good person, to that
basically.
effect, na to pass it on to the next person, to the next people na kinahanglan nga i-nurture mo siya.
Correct.
It doesn't mean na kinahanglan mo 20, 30, no. One person that you can change, no, the life of that person for the better, isa lang ang ipangayo, okay ka na. Sa ako ganingan kung makapalipay kung isa ka tao sa isa ka adlaw lipay na ko ana. Murag nalako sa langit ana. So how much more na as a teacher handling like for example 30 or 40 students, how many classes in a semester or in a school year, you can touch 2 or 3 people there. My God, it's a game changer.
Correct.
And kanang bata, that person, that student will always thank you for the rest of the kid's life.
Yeah, and that saying ba na you can, if makapalipay kag isa ka tao, that also conforms to my principle actually of being in a zombie tsunami. I don't know if you remember that game. It's a game wherein it starts with one zombie and then as he continues, makadaghan, napoy instances nga makuhaan or siya na lang gud isa, as long as mo padayon siya, the game doesn't stop or dili siya mag-game over. So that's basically my principle nga, if I can invite people to do little acts of kindness, maski ginagmay lang yun in their own little way, mura po na siya sa zombie tsunami, magpadayon.
Una kong gingon nga, pag kindness per se, it's like, kapag kindness ang pinag-uusapan, kindness is infectious.
Correct. Yes.
So, ana siya. In one, for example, in an org or in a setup, in an office setup or in a company setup, if you are kind, 2 of you out of 20, trust me, the rest of these people na
Tinon, mas infectious pa ang kindness kaysa sa COVID. If I'm making light of the
sa
situation.
pagkamarites.
Ang marites, I don't think mawagi na siya pagkamarites. But if people are kind, even if di yun kaganahan, goods, diba naman kita na pa, di yun kaganan sa tao. Pero imuha lang yung gipakita ba nga at that particular time nga namoy interaction duha, you are kind, tapos you go your own separate ways, you do your thing, na wala may harm na hitabo sa imo. So being kind to that person actually helps the community and the organization per se, nga wala mo'y kanang kagubot ba, kasi nga there is kindness that you bring.
Monang role sa mga teachers, especially in the basic ed, kay mga formative man mga formative students,
years,
no?
yes.
Formative years nila nga. Kita na itong mga batang kinahanglan nato i-nurture sila. Kinahanglan man yung bataan. Based on my kanang assessment, kinahanglan ni siya o mentoring kay di man maayo ang batasan. For example, so ikatawag ng bata, i-monitor, i-kuan. Eventually, mag 360 lagi na siya. Always put hope on that particular student. So, mao na nga to ang mga role, not just teachers.
Yeah.
Tanang tao.
Correct yun. Tinodjud na siya.
Tanang tao kinahanglan nga makita nato. No, mo balik ka dito sa saying nga it takes a village or a barangay to raise a kid. A good kid, no. A God-fearing, law-abiding kid. No, ano importante. Not just a kid. A God-fearing, law-abiding kid. No.
Yeah.
Ano siya, mga kinahanglan nato karon in the 21st century.
Kayo dyan. And I'm very happy that we can discuss that because, of course, leadership, when, you've given me opportunities and, of course, to talk about it, I can also really attribute it to how it could work also in mental health. Kasi nga, it's something that we are now more aware of and it's something that we should be really taking care of.
Correct.
Muna nga, when we talk about that too, it is very much correlated because if you can lead yourself, and then definitely you can infect change and kindness to other people. Simply saying you cannot give what you do not have. So having the two and knowing and accepting and taking accountability basically really helps us in mitigating kaning mga challenges that would come across. Okay, definitely in your case now with our present lives now 10 years after, definitely dagan kita challenge stresses that could challenge or that could tip our mental health to its balance.
Actually, in terms of mental health, what I see based on my observation, of course, ang observation, and we might don't share the same observation or comment. Di rin man guli nag-start ng mga problema sa mental health. It's because on gadgets. The ability to lose touch on the warmth and the embrace of parents. The warmth and embrace of real people.
Yeah.
Okay, makita na nato na. For example, sa una gani, magdula-dula ni sa mong mga sa mga dula-dula ni sa among mga playmates. Sino bagay, ito nulakay, ano dito, ito. Pero we are so tough, we are so resilient na, this is
Correct.
it. Kaya mga problema, this is it na. Kaya naman, dali na kayo nakay problema na. Kaya niyo na, sige, salamat. The interaction is always there.
Correct.
But if, right now kasi, but not all ha, right now kasi, ang mahitabo is, may problema, whether small or big, but sa perspective sa bata o sa tao, dako na siya. And you lose touch of, some potential people who can help you. So, ato ka sa FB, mag-brand ka, wala kayo kitang help dito. Ato ka sa social media, wala ka nakita. In close na kaayo ta. So, kinahanglan nga, though technology has a benefit, but right now, isod eh.
Correct.
Ang mga bata, lose touch na siya sa social skills. Makita na siya, lose touch na. Social skill, kanang mag-interact na sila mga kauban dito sa ML, for example. Pero sa una, lahira, madula-dula na dito, mga karang-karang, magpaligid na dito, takong dito sa
Correct, my God.
Mag-juling, jacks to mga.
Nako. Kami sa oras, makiglumba, nanang ulo sa baha, sa Kanyas River. But anyway, muna bitaw, tinuod bitaw na siya, no, nga people lose touch with social skills kasi they are now more immersed with the gadgets. That's something that we should not bawalan na ka mag-gadgets, but that's something that we could turn the tides. Nga, yes, we can still use our gadgets, pero pag mag-interact na ta, hi, hello, gid mo na karon nga, bago naman po mi nag face-to-face classes, my students nga nakasturya na ko for 2 months online, pag makita na ko, hi, hello, gid dayon, murag nagyud yapoy atmosphere ba nga pleasant yapon. Pero kung nananaw ako students, dili pleasant akong atmosphere sila, ay mo pagbuot. Char kita. Kung dili gani, nagi na dayon ba para welcoming dayon.
On pleasant atmosphere also, sa mga bata sa balay, atong mga estudyante sa eskwelahan, o atong mga colleagues nato sa opisina, in terms of pleasant atmosphere, if ikaw as a colleague, ikaw as a teacher, or ikaw as a member of the family, kung napay pleasant atmosphere, you need to maintain that one. Because a pleasant atmosphere allows you to have this high degree of confidence na whatever may tabo sa imong problem or whatever kanang imong gina-feel nimo, ginakumkum nimo, you can always express that particular feeling of yours, negative feeling of yours, and being confident na in return, tabangan ka, makakonfide ka. You have someone who has a listening ears na maminaw sa imo, free from any judgment and all.
Correct.
Mo nang ginahimo jud nato na for example sa atong eskwelahan, na naadjud tayo gitawag nato kanang environment. Kung may mga problema ang mga bata, they can easily go to their guidance counselor. They can easily go to or approach their advisor, their principal, their prefect. Not just like, uy, teacher, so many teacher.
Gani.
So, kinahanglan nga na-adjud tayo kanang itawag nato mga personal touch sa ato ang mga students. Now, what I mean by personal touch, kaya basig misconstrue, misinterpret. Touch na ito ang plan. But of course, maintaining also the professional kuan.
Yes.
So ana siya mo ni pinaka-importante sa tanan.
Anyway, I'm very happy nga nakakapir gyud ta.
Lagi, first time na ako rin yung mga podcast sa How Me kasi Sir Darren.
Alaka, Pero of course, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And kamo magyud na ang mo ang mga
yuta ramang I'm just a soil.
Anyway, very very thankful that you shared this time despite of your busy schedule. And of course,
and also we need also to thank the organizers of this event, because this podcast series makita ani nga mga estudyante, as I have said, it might inspire 2, 3 or 4 people. Correct. Importante ni siya para sa atua.
Yes, so we'd also like to thank the College of Education, Arts and Sciences ug sa tanang nagpaluyuan ni feeling yun ako Marcos Tony G. Darren E. We're very very happy. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope we can also inspire others to really take a look into mental health, leadership, and all the facets of as what you've said, being a good person in general. So cheers to that.